and welcome to our third series in our series of videos for Django training. In this video, we will be looking at Django models. And what are Django models? Django models are database tables. So let's continue. And for those that have been following me, this is the third series, and here we have already created our account app. So we're going into Django model now. So we want to create the account model, and as we rightly mentioned, the account app is a feature that we want it to enable, our app to enable users to register. So we are going to add a profile model or a profile table, a table that will store the user's information, basic information. So in this models.py file, this is where everything begins. So you can see that this line of code here says from Django.db import models. This line of code is telling Django to import the models module. That is to say that there is a file in Django that has been written for the creation or that has a table in it. So this file then enables the user to create a table in a class-like form. That is to say that the user will be writing classes, but this import will enable Django to turn this class into a structured query language. That is, a structured query language has been written, and it is there in this models module, which has been imported from this place. So as we'll be writing classes, because the models will start with a class, we'll write class profile. I will say that it is a class, but then there are codes here in this module called models that will turn these classes into a table. Ordinarily, if it is another programming language like PHP, we'll be writing structured query language, SQL, that will then create the table. But in a framework like this, like Django, the structured query language has been handled for us. So we are left to just do some imports, write our classes, and then the pre-written code of structured query language for creating table will then create the tables for us. Once we write Python manage.py make migration, and then immediately we hit enter, the models module here will then go and identify the structured query language in this module and then turn this class into a table. I think we are following. So let's continue. This is the follow con import. So we're going to run one additional import before we continue. The other one will be from Django.contrib.oath.models import user. So this import we have run here is telling Django to import the built-in user model. That is, there is already created table for a user. So this already created table enables Django to authenticate. That is, anytime the user wants to log in, We are not going to write any code that will check the user. The authenticate here has been written to make sure that it checks the user, whether the username and the password is correct. We are not going to be writing any code in that regard, but the authenticate here will check the user for us, because a code has already been written, a table is already existing for a user to manage user login. That authenticate, that is what it means. So now let's create our models. So the model we're going to create here, or the table we're going to create, is profile. So we'll start with a class, because models are classes. Then a class or a model will start with a capital. The name shouldn't start with a small letter. Then we write profile, and then open and close bracket, and then we write models dot model. Dot model. This is a pre-populated code. I don't want to go with it. That is why I am trying to be careful here, so that we'll write everything from scratch. So now, this code we have written here is calling this import module, and then is calling a method in the import module that will then turn this class. We'll call the structured query language code in the models that will create this into a table. So we are going to be defining these classes, these table columns. Now, these are the table columns. So we'll write the first attribute will be, let's say, customer equals to models dot. So this is the attribute of this model. So it's going to be a one-to-one field. We are going to explain, don't worry. And then we'll call the user model, and then we say on delete equals to models dot cascade, and then we'll add a related name. Don't worry, I'm going to explain in the next video. I'm going to explain all this line of code bit by bit. Then the related name should be customer profile. So that is the first attribute. And then the second attribute should be name, first name. I encourage you not to combine 3 words to form a table attribute or a model attribute. Just first name with an underscore. If it is plural, just 1 word, then it should be 1 word. If it is 2 words, it's okay. 3 words will not be allowed. You will get an error. So this is models dot char feed, because it's going to be characters. So the maximum length of this should be what? Let's say 50. There is no name that is longer than 50 characters. Then blank equals to false. As you say, this first name shouldn't be blank. And then let's say middle name equals to models dot char feed, and then we send this in maximum length equals to 50, then blank equals to false, and then last name equals to models dot char feed, then maximum length equals to 50, blank equals to false. As you see that it will force the user not to leave this field blank. And then what should be our this thing again? Let's say email equals models dot email field, and then unique equals to true, then blank equals to false. This unique equals to true means that no email should be repeated, and then joint date equals to models dot date time feed, then this is auto now add equals to true. So then we will then define a function that will make a string representation of this class. So this is def underscore underscore stra underscore underscore into save, then return what? Return save dot first name. We're supposed to add f string there, and then save dot last name. I'm trying to make our video short, that is why I've been rushing. So this will now, if we go into Django admin, we'll discover that this is what will be anytime we add a customer profile. You see the customer first name and the customer last name. This is what this line of code is doing. So it is going to fetch the username, the first name, and combine it with the last name, and then display. So thank you so much for following in this third video, and I encourage you to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and make it cool. Thank you as you follow us in the next